and you're asking like, what do we do about?
Is you sign a contract with someone.
So real quick, before you did that, did you?
More than 30 years. I got my real estate license in
And your origin story.
Is that he made an age joke the last time we were. I'm gonna use that Kuka.
You know, I'm a little more strict with what I'm looking at.
And products that we can look at for that.
Yeah. So do you lend in all 50 states? Are you primarily in, like, what states are you primarily in? And do you lend in the Metro Detroit area?
Yes to Metro Detroit.
Okay.
Most of our projects, just because of the logistics of where we are, are in the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic area, because those were good target growth markets. But what we did is several years ago is we just did kind of a strategic analysis on various markets around the country. Detroit was one of those that we picked, along with Texas and some other targeted markets that we felt like had value still in the markets, upside growth, and that there was still the value add component. So the question really is around, does the market really have some value add that you can really, show on paper that makes sense, right? If it's a market that's a little bit more isolated, right? So I would say yes to Detroit. Maybe if you're talking about something like Sheboygan, Michigan, you really got to have something to where everybody can wrap their minds around.
Yeah.
There is some market drivers that if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely. And I completely agree with that. Like the comps have to be there basically. Right. And, so the demand has to be there. That's essentially what we teach no matter what. If they're not, then you're probably in the wrong market. So, that's the biggest thing. Now, you guys say you're developers as well. What is it that you guys are building at the moment?
So right now we have we have several hotel projects that we're doing. We currently own a Marriott Courtyard hotel that's in the Washington D.C. area. We recently sold Marriott Four Points that we owned up through December of this past year, and we're looking at a couple of hotel conversions or larger projects. There would be mixed use development. So our primary focus right now would be mixed use development, more than hospitality, mainly because of COVID. So we switched our development focus. We were heavy in the hospitality field before, really slow that market down. Then we were in the kind of commercial shopping center space, doing small like strip plazas and those types of things. COVID also slowed that down, and so we really shifted to more of the multifamily, and that's really based on where markets are for growth. And what we've seen as a result of COVID is, especially in the Southeast, what we've seen is that a lot of folks in New York City, Philadelphia, Boston, that were densely populated areas, a lot of those folks really had a lot of trauma coming out of the early days of COVID. And so we've seen a huge amount of influx from, say, New York City that left the city to North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. We've seen a huge influx of people coming, and that's really what's been driving our housing market down in the Southeast. And so those have been very strong markets for us. But we like the Detroit market, and the Detroit market.
Sorry, you're cutting in and out.
Detroit still has innovation. Sorry about that.
Sorry, you're cutting it out. Maybe reception or whatever, but I can hear you now.
Okay. So I was saying that Detroit has good value. The reason why we like Detroit is because of the value, right? So if you're doing fix and flips, it's all about value, right? It's all about value add.
Most definitely.
So what you want is the ugliest, cheapest property that you can buy.
Yep.
Right? A neighborhood that is conveniently located to centers. So if you can grab an ugly house in a neighborhood that's getting gentrified, then that's the best model, right? Because you're capturing the value on the buy side. And with Detroit, there's been so much reinvestment into your incubator and innovation sector for tech jobs, is that you guys are building economic model that's more than just centered around the automotive industry, and you guys are seeing a resurgence in young people moving back to the city, which creates the economic opportunity.
Oh, most definitely. And that's the thing, like we're starting to Detroit is not just an automotive capital, even though it is. They're just starting to diversify as much as possible. So that's the good thing about Detroit. Now, Detroit is in the real estate end. Detroit is block by block. You got to comp it that way, neighborhood by neighborhood. That's just how it goes. It is the hardest market to comp than any other market. I will be happy to say than probably any other market, at least on the eastern part of the U.S. Because it is block by block. You can't take your standard, oh, we're going to go comps a half mile out. You can't do that, Right. And things of that nature. So, looks like your brother hasn't joined us yet. So we'll just kind of keep going as we go, until you have to take off. But, so with that being said, let's talk a little bit about this weekend. Let's talk about Saturday. Now this is the Detroit Real Estate Biz Expo, and I'm going to be covering it as far as part of this show. So I'm going to be there. And so what is it you and your brother is going to be speaking about there?
Yeah, so we're going to be on a panel discussion really about we're there to help make deals happen, right? So the way it's going to be structured is we're going to have some general kind of panel discussions about what we're seeing in the market, how to get deals financed for folks that are saying, hey, I got a deal. What do I do? How do I get it financed? How do I get it executed? And so we'll be there to kind of talk about those things in kind of an overall strategic framework. And then we're going to have breakout sessions where what I would ask your listeners and members to do is, if you got a deal, we want you to bring it to the conference. We want to try to cut deals, find deals. That's why we're there. We're there to help people make things happen, right? I'm not there just as part of a lecture. I'm really there to try to help folks get their and as many deals as we can try to get done, happen at the conference. And if folks, don't have a specific deal that they're trying to execute right now, hopefully so the framework, so that, as they have a deal that comes up a month, 2 down the line, we can establish that connection and rapport and then begin to try to execute on that deal, when it does come down the pike. But simply, we're there to try to get deals done.
Okay. Right. Awesome. And that's the good thing is that you guys are going to be there. It's on a panel discussion, and, people can bring deals to use as examples. They can bring them to try to get them done. And if it doesn't work, this is the best thing that I think is the most valuable, because if it doesn't work, guess what? You're not just going to say, oh, it's not a deal. Sorry. No, You're going to say why it's not a deal. You're going to say this is where it should be on it. This is the reason why it's not a deal. This is where it should be. Okay, if it's just price, then the price needs to be down here. If it's okay, it's because the area, that area doesn't sustain it. Now you know why, and it's going to be a learning, a huge learning opportunity. So if you have your deals, if you have a deal, come to this event. Okay, this event here, there's only a limited amount of free admission spots that are gonna be there. By all means, sign up. It's only the first 100 people that are free. If the box is available, then it's available. Otherwise, it's $129, but for 2 people per couple. Honestly, for the amount of people that's going to be speaking there, I think it's a steal. So, everybody here on my channel knows I'm an open book. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has. And I'll be there. Now, I can only speak to my own experience, which is wholesaling, So I know about buy and holds. I know about fix and flips and things like that, but I'm not a lender. I know some things. That's where Kevin comes in, right? He's the lending side,
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room.